My mother left everyone behind and immigrated to Canada when I was 13 years old to provide me the opportunity to pursue a quality higher education. With tears in her eyes, she mumbled something about education and moving to Canada. She had already planned with my father he would remain in Pakistan to work and support us while we were moving to Canada. I didn't fully understand at the time, but she was making one of the greatest sacrifices of her life, forsaking our friends, family, and everything we knew in order to give me a shot at a quality education. I was 16 years old when I first returned to Pakistan. As I stepped out of the airport into the evening storm, thunder shuddered my eardrums. While driving along the flooded roads, I noticed a woman hiding her infant daughters under a makeshift shelter. I asked the driver to stop the car. Farah, I came to learn the woman's name was Farah. I managed to yell over the boisterous rain and wind, "Why are you here in this harsh weather?" She replied, "I have not had food for 2 days, and I am too weak to breastfeed my infant daughters." I was overcome with emotion. My experience propelled me to visit around my home city in Karachi to meet women and listen directly to their struggles, women who were living in slums. The stories of the women I spoke to were similar to the story Farah had told me in the rain that night. Single mothers living in poverty who received no social support from the government, no available jobs, no schooling for their children to attend and receive education. As Farah was both poor, she experienced double discrimination at the intersection of gender and poverty. In a typical middle-class household, a girl child receives education and opportunities to pursue the career of her dreams. However, if that same girl is born in a low-income household, she is barred from pursuing an education, may be forced into child marriage, and carries her first child with no social support from the government. Hope for a woman from low economic class to support themselves and their families is almost non-existent. As they shared their stories, I thought about my own upbringing in Canada. My mother raised me without a father, worked part-time jobs to pay the bills, and provided me the opportunities to succeed. The Canadian government offered me the free tuition to attend one of the best high schools in the country and a promise to attend any university in the country with loans and grants from the government. I reflected on how, in contrast, no such opportunities are available to Pakistani families like mine, and I knew I had to do something. To engender hope, 5 years ago, I began my journey to empower women, and this led to the creation of our I Am an Entrepreneur campaign. I provided small interest-free loans, $500 from my own savings, to women living in urban slums to start their own businesses. The women surprised me. All of them paid back our loans. I shared their stories with my community and began fundraising to continue to support women to start their businesses. I received donations from Pakistani Canadians, and I raised money and I sent it to women in Pakistan. Within 6 months, our campaign gained momentum. Women entrepreneurs received loans, bought their merchandise for their businesses, and started paying back loans. When our women entrepreneurs started to stand on their own feet, other women in the household and neighborhood were amazed. As the word of mouth started to spread, applications started pouring in. To ensure the sustainability of our campaign, I contacted professors in Karachi, in leading universities in Karachi, and pitched the idea that their students could gain valuable experience by guiding women entrepreneurs. The pitch was successful as I secured the help of bright students who mentored our women entrepreneurs about the opportunities available to them and guide them through their businesses. When women received loans and mentoring from I Am an Entrepreneur, they started a new life, a life of entrepreneurship. After being equipped to earn a dignified source of income, women who were previously unemployed have been able to lift their families out of poverty. More importantly, their social statuses have improved as they have transitioned into independent, contributing members of their household and communities. I want to introduce to some of our women entrepreneurs to give you a kind of feeling of the kind of businesses that women are starting and are being funded through our campaign. Saima, a beauty entrepreneur, widow and mother of an only child, joined I Am an Entrepreneur in 2015 and used her first microloan to buy styling chairs and beauty products to start her own beauty parlor in Karachi, where she is a beautician and does bridal makeup for young women in her neighborhood. We sponsor her enrollment in short advanced beauty training courses to help expand her services. She has also joined a women's savings group that contributes small amount of her income every month in hopes to pay for her daughter's college tuition fees. Parveen was a mother and a wife to an alcoholic man. She had led. Parveen was a mother and a wife to an alcoholic man. She had to beg her abusive husband for small amounts of money. He beat her whenever he was drunk, and she was verbally abused for giving birth to girls. Parveen received a microloans and training to set up a tuck shop and purchase cell phones to start her business, providing cell phone credit services in her neighborhood. Within 1 year, her entrepreneurial endeavors transformed the balance of power in her home. She says, "I finally received divorce and the daughters are with me." Rana, a whale vendor, a middle-aged, unmarried woman, received microloans and mentorship to start a home-based traditional abaya business, where she designs and produces long veils. She hosts exhibitions, displays at local venues, and employs other local women. 3 years later, she has developed partnerships with popular retail stores to design and display her designs in local shops. She says, "I am Rana, the woman who was abandoned by her siblings after her parents' death. I want to provide income generation opportunities to women who come from backgrounds like my own, who are left behind by their own family members." Seeing how one loan can change the trajectory of their lives and their families continues to help me grow my vision. In 2014, Peshawar Army Public School, one of Pakistan's largest government-funded schools, was attacked by the Taliban, leaving the families of affected households in catastrophic pain. Traditional Taliban ideology opposes girls' education and women's rights. In response to the attack, I conducted a skills training program to help women of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan, how to design and produce traditional shawls. The training sessions engendered hope in the local women. It empowered them to develop an income-generating skills, all while living under the shadows of the Taliban. Prior to the shawl production, these women had been confined to the four walls of their homes and had been centered around performing unpaid work such as childcare, cooking, and household cleaning. I Am an Entrepreneur enabled them to enter a space outside their home where they could connect, learn, discuss, and create, and they were operating confidently in their newfound lives. By the end of the training program, they were creating shawls, managing inventory, and running a business. The class was a victory celebration for these Pakistani women whose life has been centered around unpaid work and mandated by strict norms, restrictions, and patriarchal systems. The women I met led hard lives. I started my campaign to empower women and give them back something that my mother and I were privileged to receive. But it was also a privilege to work with these women. Their stories taught me the important value of hard work, self-reliance, resilience, and belief. I hope to grow my vision to transform I Am an Entrepreneur into an institution that provides financial resources to poor Pakistani women all across the country. I am confident that young people have the knowledge, passion, and creativity to generate solutions to one of the toughest problems facing our world. In the year 2015, the representatives of UN member states joined forces to create an ambitious set of goals, the Sustainable Development Goals. The SDGs include 17 goals across 169 specific targets. The ambition is to create that all these 17 goals will be achieved by the year 2030. The SDGs invite business, political leaders, citizens, and young people globally to advance gender equality by investing in women's economic empowerment, building an equitable, inclusive, and sustainable world. It is my belief that inter-organizational partnerships is at the heart of our potential to promote development. Today, our world is home to 1.8 billion young people, and it is my belief that we can harness our collective, vibrant energy to transform our communities, cultures, and countries. Advancing gender equality, particularly women's economic empowerment, is one of those transformative opportunities. Because when we empower a woman, stand on her own, fostering her strengths, we further her education, opportunity, and independence. In turn, as the matriarch of the family is empowered, she shares her newfound strength with her family, her children, and her legacy. This, I believe, is a powerful way to change lives and lift up a community. On February 2nd, 2017, at 5:35 a.m., still the dark hour of a morning, the children, mothers, and families of I Am an Entrepreneur gathered around the computer screen to live stream the webcast. They watched intently as I scanned it to the stage to receive my Outstanding Youth Delegate Award from the United Nations Youth Assembly. I took their stories to the United Nations and shared from the podium as I addressed one of the 1,000 delegates from 85 countries. My message was clear. Women's empowerment is not only a feminist concern, it requires collaborative action from social enterprises, NGOs, UN agencies, and most importantly, men. My message electrified the audience to advocate for women's empowerment in their own communities. And most importantly, for policies that can help empower women. Back home, those who were involved with I Am an Entrepreneur celebrated the day as one of the best days of their life. I celebrated it as the day I was even more motivated to continue to grow my vision. In my own journey to change the lives of women, I faced enduring criticism from the men in my country, who complained that I was wasting my time by helping women create their own ventures. Many of my critics were convinced that I was destined to fail simply given my youth. But that didn't stop me. As I continued to carry out the work, my efforts led me to receive unique opportunities to address panels at the United Nations and in turn at the United Nations and meet Dr. Muhammad Yunus, who pioneered the microfinance and whose work has transformed the lives of millions of women in Bangladesh and around the world. Last month, I was awarded the Resolution Fellowship at the General Assembly Hall to make my dream project a reality, an SMS-based tool that connects women entrepreneurs to local, accessible financial resources. At the 72nd session of the UN General Assembly, Prime Minister Trudeau urged the audience, "We need women and girls to succeed because that's how we grow and build strong economies." The clock is ticking. 12 years remain until our world leaders will gather in the same General Assembly Hall to report the results of Sustainable Development Goals. To achieve this dream, we need to start investing in the women who are left behind in our own communities. If you can create a change in one woman's life, then you can change the future of a family. Change the future of a family, and you can change the future of your communities. Change the future of your communities, and you can change the future of your countries. And in no time, you will be one more young person changing the world. Thank you very much.